Good morning and happy 4th of July, ladies, gentlemen, and children of all ages. We're going to take a look at the brown LCH-X. So I don't know if that stands for 10 or what, but we're going to take a look at it. It's a pretty good knife. I know it's showing up weird because it's green. Guys, first, before we go any further, I have to do the YouTuber thing and let you guys know the channel is fully self-sponsored. If you're going to do any shopping, I would appreciate it if you do it using the affiliate links down below. It doesn't cost you anything at checkout, but it does support the channel. Let's go ahead and turn this around and look at it from above. But first, here comes a little bit of music. Guys, let's take a look at this brown knives, LCH-X. Now, I forgot to mention this in the intro. This is first day in pockets, so this is basically first impressions. This is a great knife. Now, it's got a couple things that I don't really like about it as much as I do the brown Cortex, but let's take a look at it because this is a great knife. I'm looking at this. I have not looked up any specs yet. This appears to be micarta to me, so it looks like titanium micarta. I do know that this knife is in 154 cm. That is the one thing I do know. Pocket clip is a milled pocket clip that comes down nice and clean. All the logos and everything. The milling on this is impeccable, as I would expect from brown knives. Brown knives logo. The stop pin on this knife is attached to the blade, and then there's a cutout. So we will probably take this apart to clean it, and I'll show you guys, because if he did this the same way he did his other knives, there's some interesting milling and things that are done in here that allow this knife a lot of longevity and things like that. I said purple hardware, green anno on the scales. The pocket clip has been done to match. Internal cutout for the blade there, so you can have that blade nice and deep and not have to worry about it hitting the backspacer. Backspacer is also checkered and milled beautifully, as I would expect. I have not seen a bad brown knife yet. I've just seen models that I personally wouldn't carry. The action on this thing is impeccable. That is some of the best action around on a knife. These things always have incredible action on them. And this knife is dirty. I'm going to tell you right now, this knife is dirty. Zero blade play. There's no chance that that's from looseness. All of the milling and chamfering has been done nice and clean. The blade stock on it is not super thick, but it's been done very nicely. Comes down really thin. So no issues with cutting capability. Sorry, I didn't put my watch on silent. Yeah, nice thin behind the edge profile. In hand, it's really comfortable. I like the Cortex in hand better. This just feels a little blockish. What I was going to say I don't like about it is when I get a hold of it, I can, even though the pocket clip is a good pocket clip, I can definitely feel the pocket clip. And this is another one of those knives that in hand kind of just wants to, instead of staying aligned with the cut, it wants to roll on me in my hand. And you can kind of see when I get it in hand, it's just kind of off a little bit. So like I have to turn. If I'm holding it in a natural position, you can see how much of the blade you're seeing. I have to readjust my position. Not such a big deal. I just, that can be bothersome and it drives me nuts and it just feels uncomfortable in hand. The lockup on it, not too early, not too late, just about perfect. You've got a good bit of life left in that knife. Lock bar insert is deep down in there. Big detent ball. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Let's see. It's kind of dirty. Big detent ball on that to allow you some really nice smooth action. The detent doesn't feel as crisp as I would like though. It just feels a little soft. If you don't give it a good snap, it just doesn't fly open. If you're somebody that just kind of gives it like a half-ish effort, I feel like it could fail. And the other thing is when you flip it, if you don't get your finger out of the way, it comes back and it hits your finger. You've got to kind of drag your finger down. I mean, none of these are showstopper items. It is, like I said, gorgeous, gorgeous knife. I have done very little cutting with it. The stonewash finish on it is beautiful. I like a fine stonewash like this with a really tight scratch pattern. I would imagine that's from a vibratory as opposed to a rotary tumbler. You get a different effect. You get more swirling and things like that on it. And it definitely softens all of this. The plunge comes down nice and clean. It's a nice swept, rounded plunge. And he's left you enough room here for sharpening that you're not going to get into that thick spot and have a smile at the end. And like I said, it's fairly thin. It came, I don't know if Chris sharpened this. It is really sharp. But in hand, like I said, it just has a couple little small things. The jimping right now, first day in pockets, it doesn't feel too bad, but it also is a little bit slick. It's kind of just on the edge of being useful. If you're wearing gloves, it might be a little bit more grabby and catch a little bit more. But, it's in most knives, jimping is just there as a stylistic thing. It really isn't serving a lot of purpose. You can hear and see it's pretty softened and rounded over on all of that jimping. There's not a lot of crispness and bite to that you would see in some other knives that have got, I don't have one close right now, that have got more aggressive jimping. I'm more of a fan of some smaller jimping with tighter, sharper corners on it that gives you a little bit more bite. And then the last thing is it kind of feels like it sweeps up a little bit, but it doesn't give you. Now, I don't mind a sweep up like we saw in a couple of knives that I had in. I don't mind a sweep up if there's a low spot here for you to have your thumb on. It just feels like the blade, like the knife just comes down pretty thin and then widens up, and it just kind of feels like I'm sliding off. I know I'm not, but that's the perception I get. It just doesn't feel as stable, and it just feels like that blade, like I would want the blade, I don't know how well you guys can see it. There's a lot of gap in between there. That's a lot of knuckle busting when the blade sweeps up like that. So if you're cutting into something and you're going to constantly be hitting, if it was a little more swept down, which is something I really do like, I think it would be a lot more comfort to it in the cut. But I haven't done a lot of cutting with it yet. We'll see. But a lot of times if you have a blade that sweeps up like that, you definitely, as you're cutting, are going to hit more, or you have to angle down, which it can cause some fatigue. Now, day-to-day EDC, if you're just using this in an office, opening packages, opening mail, which is what most people are going to do, probably not at all an issue. I don't know. For the price, because I know these are expensive, I don't think I would really go for this one. I would definitely go for the Cortex. But we'll see. We'll give it some time in pocket, and we'll see. I've got some other stuff that came in from Chris over at Cerberus. I have one of his pry bars. I have one of his little Riot pocket scalpels. I have another fixed blade that I can't think the name of that he makes. And this. He sent these all along with me when I stopped by his house here a few weeks ago, and I'm just getting around to them. But yeah, that is a good looking knife, I have to admit. Fit and finish on it, immaculate. Action, immaculate. Like I said, I think that I'm so much more inclined to say that I would get the Cortex. But the fact is, this is a discontinued model. I don't think he makes these anymore. Chris actually has 3 of these now because they don't make them anymore, which I've never understood. I only have one of each fair and forged, and they don't make those anymore. I don't understand that thing of having more than one knife. But hey, to each his own, if that's how you choose to collect. If you're interested in one of these knives and you see one and you want one, I would get on them now because there aren't any more coming, I don't think. So there you go, guys. The brown LCH-X. And like I said, I don't know what that stands for 10 or I don't know. But anyway, let's turn this around and do some final thoughts. So there you go, guys. Brown knives. Thanks to Chris over at Cerberus Knives for letting me borrow it. This is a really nice knife. It's not one... It's not the brown knife that I would buy, but it is a very good knife. All the brown knives are very, very good, very smooth, well built, well made. So there you go, guys.
That's it on this one. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the content, give it a thumbs down, but please try to tell me why. I can't change that content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you do hit the bell icon, make sure you've got notifications turned on your device, or you will not get notified of the massive amount of content I put up these days. Pretty much 3 things a day, counting live feeds and stuff like that. Other ways you can support the channel, if you want to do it financially, like I mentioned at the beginning, I have a bunch of affiliate links, including Blade HQ, Coffee Brand Coffee, a bunch of other ones, a VPN, and a lot of Amazon links. Anything you purchase through any of those links supports the channel, especially if you're doing the Amazon links. If you're buying something on Amazon, once you click on one of those, it does not matter what you buy, your entire order gives me credit. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I do have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. as well. This is one of the shirts that has not come out yet. I've set up a coupon code that will save you 10% anywhere on Ember Shirt Co. at checkout. That coupon code is CrazySharp, capital C, capital S. CrazySharp saves you, all one word, saves you 10% at checkout. If you send me pictures of you wearing my merchandise, I will put them in a video. And the final way is I have a membership down below. It's all tier-based. Pick the tier that gets you what you want out of the memberships. But remember, everyone saves $5 off my sharpening service, and everyone has access to my gilded server. Guys, I love you all. Keep it clean. In the comments section, it makes it easier to moderate the channel. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Enjoy your 4th of July. Do it safely. Remember, do not drink and drive, because I love you all and I want to see you in the next video.